MacGyver Groenewegen wins again in La Grand Boucle, 2 years on, and proving that even with such horrible glasses with a false nose, you can make some serious aerodynamic power gains. Slovalian Poggy is left alone in the front peloton during the strong crosswinds en route to Dijon, and Rabobank helps him despite having managed to isolate the yellow jersey with 60 kilometers to go. The Blue Smurfs of Astana continue to put on a show with their stellar mummy changing bikes and then even drafting the organisation's vehicles. And of course, we all fell asleep for 3 of the 3.5 hours that Stage 6 of the Tour de France 2024 lasted. Thank goodness there's your favourite uncle's cycling highlights to entertain you. Subscribe to the channel for cycling videos every day. And now, without further ado, let the show begin. Of course, before we get to grips with today's flat stage, which turned out to be even more boring than anyone could have expected, we have to comment on some of the secrets of the Mummy of Man which helped him to achieve his 35th stage victory in the Tour de France, and do so totally unchained. Many have complained that it all looked like a pantomime, what with his family at the finish line waiting to congratulate the returning war veteran, and then many of his rivals licking the bony, sagging pellets of the British Smurfs team, both on social networks and in person. But after all, history has been made, and it will always be talked about despite this inconsequential stage. One that had a strange anaesthetising effect on many of the spectators, who had to view the thing from start to finish. But the first of Cav's secrets, something we already mentioned, was his preparation in Greece with Vasilis Anastopoulos, one of the men who brought him back to life at Quick-Step 3 years ago, and with whom he started this fairy tale that thrilled Prince William himself. In the country of the Peloponnese, a place widely known for the UCI's intense persecution of the huge number of professional Greek riders, our always angry mummy began his stealth preparation for the Tour de France 43 kilometers from Athens, specifically at the Olympic Rowing and Canoeing Centre in Chinias, a place created expressly in 2004 to celebrate the successes of Kenteris and Thanu, and then on its cycling tracks to remember the victory of Cav's trainer in the Hellas Tour just a year earlier. And there, while Anastopoulos drank coffees, we imagine brought from Colombia by the Mummy of Man himself during his stay in January 2024, his evergreen 39-year-old disciple kept doing maximum effort sprint series of 600 to 800 metres, going so hard and so far as to vomit like a walrus just to find out where his limit was. Now I think we can understand why Cav vomited during the first stage of this year's tour. It wasn't heat stroke or even food poisoning. He was just pushing his body to the limit, as Vasilis Anastopoulos had told him to do. The Greek trainer himself insisted that the data of the mummy in that week near Santorini assured him that he was going to perform like never before. And he was not wrong. A story of overcoming, but one which is incomplete without the material part. Since Jovan Battista Hierro was sadly caught with a motor on his bike during a French amateur race, in a video that I recommend you watch in order to understand the whole context, the Kazakh team's Villiers Trestina bikes have not stopped failing, despite sporting such wonderful aerodynamic bottles that better fill the frame triangle space and make the bikes fly. En route to San Luca, we already saw the mummy ever so angry at being caught on camera, mysteriously changing the wheels on his bike. And on the day of his 35th stage victory, just after the start of the Départ Réel, the mummy stopped in a ditch and changed the Corsa Pro tyres, which are also used by teams like Garmin or Bahrain Victorious, but ones which have only caused problems on Astana's bikes. That's bad luck, isn't it? Of course, some smart-ass will come along to the comments and say, "This is because the wheels had a small motor or a small battery that improves the grip and power of the bike. Didn't you know that? You are a real disgrace." Well, I can tell you this, if I see any comments like that one, I'll report them directly to Selfie Le Patient himself, the man who is the toughest of the tough in the fight against doping and wants to eradicate it forever. He will certainly take note of your stupid tinfoil conspiracy theories, and he will act on them. Now on today's stage, twice Cavendish, only Cavendish, suffered mechanical problems. And this can only make us applaud even more the merit of winning stages with so many problems, and also doing it totally clean. Let's hope that in the next Netflix documentary they put the shots where Christian Prudhomme congratulates the mummy just as he deserves for shutting the mouths of so many haters who hate this humble, modest, Manxman British cyclist. Well, humble in the way he is, because it's true that he does have expensive tastes. His marginal gain for his 35th win, a concept he may have come to understand thanks to the doped-up Bobby Julich during his time at Sky, is something of an expensive gain, but one that you will quickly understand. Aero socks. Worth, wait for it, over €1,000. Yes, folks, now you can buy your Aero socks at your trusted stores for 30 or 40 or 50 euros. But the mummy insists on the latest technology. He can combine the cutting edge of technology, items benefiting from artificial intelligence, and coupling them with classic Greek epics during training, all to provide a renewed mummy. A phoenix in the land of the Smurfs that is Astana. We're talking about socks from the popular, very popular, No Pins brand. Socks tailor-made for the mummified feet of Cav, created solely and exclusively for his success in this tour. However, for the stage he won, it looks like he got to change his socks to an unknown type. Unknown, but ones which he preferred more than a €1,000 sock. But friends, fashion is paramount for sprinters. After all, the abusive Cipollini started to viralize it, and now the Smurf missile has joined in with his socks and aerodynamic shoe covers that dazzle the greatest modelling experts. In fact, anyone capable of wearing this hot Cavendish suit must complete their outfit by subscribing to our Fail Sharks soccer channel, where, if we reach 1,000 subscribers, we'll tell you all about the worst cases of dirty doping in the biggest filthy sports business. Subscribe to that channel, and now let's get back to today's rather pathetic stage. 0 attacks for more than 160 kilometers. Does that sum the day up perfectly? There was only one move by Jonas of the Fjords, who wanted to add a point to the King of the Mountains standings, and he was seconded by Rabobank's new signing, Axel Zangle, perhaps eager to appear on this channel, because we didn't mention his Spider-Man-esque jump during yesterday's finish that, for many people, was a lifesaver. Well, Monsieur Zangle, you've had your minute of glory. Now get back to the pack and don't you dare attack. The next 2 stages are very important, and today, well, everyone has to take the day off. It was practically like that until the arrival in the town of Puy-sur-Saône, about 60 kilometers from the finish. And there, the Lotto team with Cincosfera Campeonato and Rabobank with the Belgian bot received a warning from their directors by radio that there were crosswinds, and so they decided to try and spring a surprise on the flat, because after all, our Dutch friends will leave the anchovy alone and isolated in the mountains just when he needs someone to give him affection. Affection like our kind followers on this channel, who, I hope, are giving a nice like to this video, just as if they were caressing the scaly head of our aquatic Dane. Uska Zigard's boyfriend actually worked with them, thinking that he would soon be helped by his best friend Wellens, but it wasn't to be. In the first group, Poggy was all alone with no Saunier Duval teammates nearby. This was a golden opportunity for Rabobank, with almost all their men ahead of them. They could do a job that would send the hard-working Ayuso and Almeida far, far away in the general classification, but perhaps realizing that instead they're going to kill each other, Rabobank preferred to let the trouble at Saunier simmer, fostering one of the ways that they can perhaps win this Tour de France. And just then, the mummy stayed behind, doing one of his now usual bike changes, accompanied by the smell of burnt pizza. And then he came back drafting with the bikes and rival teams' vehicles and even the commissaire's car of Christian Prudhomme, whom he dared to scold for having a camera next to him recording his dirty moves, which of course Adam Hansen, his teammate at Telecom many years ago, will never denounce. Fans complained a lot on social media and said Cavendish should not even be fighting for the win today. But the British Smurf, my dear friends, doesn't care about anything like that. He only cares about fashion. So if he wants to change his socks 10 times, he bloody well will, as long as the little Frenchman who collects the money lets him get back to the peloton as quickly as possible. However, at the moment of truth, when the possibility of another tragedy was unfolding, he didn't arrive well placed, and so he was left to tell jokes about Lance Armstrong to his rivals, while Jasper Philipsen almost threw the Belgian bot into the barriers, a move that Pierre Baguette must have applauded from his golden retirement, but one which has meant a penalty for the winner of Milano-San Remo. And so then he watched MacGyver Groenewegen overtake him on the left and achieve, at 31 years of age, his 6th victory in the Tour de France. Still, he has 8 years left to keep winning, with a smile and with the odd joke article. Especially if he starts training in Greece.